Hello, I'm Steve Grizzetti, co-founder of MoviePix.com and author of the MoviePix.com Guide to CyberLink PowerDirector. And here we are in PowerDirector. One of the things I love about this wonderful program is how many advanced features it includes. And these are features that are often not found in consumer programs. One of my favorites being the multi-camera editor. Now, multi-camera editing means that if you have a number of video sources that were recorded at the same time, that's video shot of, say, a wedding, a concert, a live stage show, something where you had several cameras running at the same time, you can cut between those cameras using the multi-camera editor. Now, the multi-camera editor or the multi-camera designer is found in the media room. Just click on the puzzle piece and select multi-camera designer. When you select it, it will prompt you to locate your videos. You can select all of your videos at this point, or you can do what I'm going to do. I'm going to just select one and click open. It's going to put that in camera one. Now, even though that shows a blank screen, it's only because I have some black at the beginning, but you can see if I move the playhead into the movie, this is one angle of the wedding. Now, to add to camera 2, I select the plus button here and import from hard drive. We'll get my camera 2. Then we'll go to camera 3, add that. And camera 4 and add that. So these are, and it may not show really obviously, I'll move the playhead out toward the middle. You can see these are 4 distinct videos that were shot simultaneously by 4 different cameras running at the same time. Now I have these sort of synced on my timeline here. I'm going to purposely knock them out of sync by just kind of staggering them here, so you can see this great sync tool that's built into the multicam designer and how well it works. I'm also going to add an audio track, and my audio, which I'm going to import, is audio of this wedding. So there it is, my separate audio, and we'll add that to the audio track. Now, there are a number of ways you can synchronize your cameras, and they do have to be synchronized on your timeline before you can do anything more with them. There are a number of ways you can do it, and you can see these options right up here under the synchronization drop-down menu, or you can manually do it. I tell you, this audio analysis tool is awesome. So I'm going to select that and click apply. Now the program is going to do a quick analysis of the audio that's on every one of the clips, and it's going to find commonalities in that audio, and then it's going to shift the clips around on the timeline so that all 4 clips, video clips plus the audio clip, are in sync. And this will take just a couple of minutes. This is about a 30-minute video. It's going to take probably 4 or 5 minutes for the program to do the analysis and then sync up the clips. And there we go. Now, once the program has synced up the clips on the timeline, now in my case, it kind of lined them all up on home on the beginning of the timeline. That may not be the case with you. My clips were sort of in sync. But once they've lined them up, now the fun begins. We can start our multi-camera editing. But let me show you one thing first, and that is I'm going to move the playhead down here to the beginning of the timeline. Notice that because my cameras did not all start running at the same time, I don't always have all 4 options for my video. So at the beginning, I may only have 1 or 2 options. And you can see as I go in here, when I finally got all 4 cameras running, right about here, now I have 4 separate options. And that's going to happen at the end too, because not all the cameras turned off at the same time. You see if I move the playhead to the end of my timeline, that there too, I may not have 4 separate options. But in the middle, in the heart of it, I do have 4 different camera angles where all 4 cameras were running at the same time, and these are all in perfect sync, and the audio is in sync with them thanks to this great tool in the program. So I'm going to set the playhead here to a point where I do have all 4 cameras and 4 different angles, and that's where I'm going to begin my editing. Now, to do the camera editing, it's as simple as clicking to select whatever camera you want to use as your master in that particular case, and you can see my preview window will show that camera angle. And then I simply record my camera selection. So I'll click this record button here at the bottom of the preview window. And as I'm recording, I'm going to jump back and forth between the 4 different camera angles. We'll jump over here, get some video of the bridesmaids arriving. Cut here to an angle where we see the groom waiting at the altar. Go to a wide shot. Come back to another bridesmaid. Go back to a long shot of the altar. Here's my second bridesmaid. And I go to the altar. And so on and so forth. Now, I'm going to pause this or stop this. And if you take a look at the timeline, on the top of the timeline, let's zoom in on it a little bit here. You can see that what has recorded along the top of the timeline, these are the recordings on this track, are the different camera angles. And the cool thing about these camera angles is you're not locked into them. Let's zoom in a little closer. Suppose I didn't want to cut here to camera 4. Suppose I wanted that cut to come a little bit later. I can hover my mouse over the scene between this camera cut, and I can just shift it a little bit and change where the camera cuts from camera 1. See, wherever I am in a scene between these two, I can set up that cut and make it very, very precise, so I can continue editing that. I can also, if I want, swap out a camera angle completely. I can right click and say I don't want camera 4 here at all. What I really want is camera 3. And now I've swapped in camera 3 for this particular sequence. And we can make this into camera 4. And finally, I can even split a camera angle. Say, suppose I thought this camera angle went on a little too long. I can position my playhead, click the split button, and swap in a different camera angle there. So you can continue to edit this right here on the timeline here in the Multicam Designer until you have it precisely as you'd like it, and you're not locked into any decision. When you're done, click OK. And the program will add them to the timeline. Let's zoom in and we'll take a look at what we've edited so far. And you see the MC indicator. That tells us that it's multi-camera editing. You notice that it only has one audio track, although we're cutting back and forth. Now this is really a great tool. In version 13, PowerDirector, they've added yet another feature, and that is a feature that allows you to have several tracks of video that are all in sync, and you can cut back and forth between the tracks and even create a split screen effect. And I show you that in a separate tutorial. It is a fantastic tool, something you usually don't see in a program that sells for $100 or so, so just a great deal all around. If you want to know more about CyberLink PowerDirector, we got lots of tutorials here on our website. If you want to know virtually everything about every tool in the program, be sure to check out our books. The MoviePix.com guide to CyberLink PowerDirector. They're available at Amazon.com. I'm Steve Grizzetti. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you again real soon.